AdSense. When people talk about earning money on YouTube, they usually talk about this number, the actual ad revenue you earn after getting monetized on YouTube. But there is a problem with that, because a lot of creators would not be able to make YouTube work if that was the only revenue they relied on. Can you earn a lot from ads? Yes, absolutely. I mean, most of you have probably seen this screenshot. 35 million, not bad. But Penguin Zero also has 13.5 billion long form views, which is insane. So let's consider a more realistic example instead. Say there's a channel with 80,000 subscribers. They post one video a week and each video averages around 100,000 views. That's definitely a decently successful channel, but how much would they earn? Well, the RPM, meaning how much you earn per 1,000 views, obviously depends on many different things, but a common RPM for stuff like gaming or entertainment is somewhere between $2 to $4. So if we assume this channel has an RPM of $3, that would mean his net revenue would be around $1,200 a month, which, by the way, is before tax. It's very nice extra income, but for most people, it's not nearly enough for it to be more than just a side gig. But luckily, there are a lot of different strategies you can use to really maximize your revenue. And in this video, I'm going to explain all of them, starting with the most obvious one, brand deals. I think at this point, most of you probably know how significant sponsorships can be for large creators. If you don't, here is an example. This is Ludwig. He recently leaked how much he makes in a single month. Over 70% of his total revenue is just from sponsorships. Now, he has a massive channel, of course, but you actually don't need to have a big channel to start getting brand deals. Obviously, your deals will be significantly smaller, but it can still become a very large percentage of your overall revenue. So the question then is, how do you get sponsors? Well, there are two main ways: inbound and outbound opportunities. Inbound is when a company reaches out to you through the business email you leave in your YouTube bio. How quickly you get real sponsor opportunities depends on your niche. On this channel, as an example, I got my first sponsorship opportunity very early on. The reason for that is that my audience is very specific. Almost everyone watching this channel is either trying to start a YouTube channel or grow their current one. It's a very targeted group of people, which is exactly what advertisers are looking for. And just a heads up, part of this video is actually sponsored by Gyro Pro, but I will talk more about them later. If you are a variety gaming channel with about the same amount of views as I have, chances are that you would get a lot less offers. That is simply because advertisers would have a more difficult time knowing exactly who they're reaching. But you don't actually have to wait for the right company to reach out to you. You can reach out to them. This is the outbound approach. And if you average just a few thousand views on your long form videos, you will definitely be able to land quite a few deals if you approach it in the right way. What you should do is only reach out to brands that make sense for your niche. You should also make a media kit showing your stats and audience demographics. And then you should pitch them an idea that is easy to say yes to. You essentially have to make a sales pitch for your channel and give them a reason why your audience is interested in their product. As for what to charge, it varies a lot and it's actually a pretty large topic. If you look online, you can find some quote-unquote standard market rates, but the concept of standard rates is a bit of a myth. In some cases, you might get $20 per 1,000 views, while in other cases, where you might have exclusivity deals and other stuff going on, you could potentially get significantly more. Bottom line though, there is a lot of money to be made here. Even for smaller creators, it can in some cases definitely be worth your time. If you want to learn how to negotiate deals, I do recommend reading this book. But it can also be more work than you might expect, both the negotiating process and the initial vetting process. And sometimes I test the product for hours before realizing it just doesn't live up to my standards. If you don't want to do brand deals though, you can also try and start your own private community. Patreon is one type of private community, but there are also many others like private Discord servers, school, YouTube memberships, and so on. The tricky part is always converting viewers into actual paying community members. How tricky it is often depends on your niche. As an example, let's start with taking a look at James. This is an educational channel teaching SAT prep. While he gets decent views, they are nowhere near enough to make a full-time living from ad revenue alone. Instead, he makes his money from his paid school community. It costs $100 to sign up, and he has a lot of members. You do the math, it is an insane amount of money. People pay him because he has already delivered a ton of value for free, and that builds trust. He also has a free school community, which is a common strategy to try and deliver even more free value and gain enough trust for people to actually buy into the paid community. There are a lot of examples of people doing this across many different niches. Some people only average like 1,000 views, and they still have thriving communities on school. The amount of views you get is not always the most important thing. If you can help a very targeted group of people in a private community, that is what really makes a lot of money. But all of this is mostly for educational channels. For entertainment channels, you can't really solve a problem. So instead, you should try and sell more of what people already come to you for. This could be extra bonus episodes, behind the scene content, more of your personality, or whatever the main selling point is for your channel specifically. For this channel, as an example, the selling point is funny clips. That's all the channel is. There's no voiceover or personality here, so they just sell a part 2 with double the amount of clips on Patreon. And it does convert a decent amount of people. In general though, the reality is often that it takes a bigger viewer base for entertainment channels before you can start earning a lot from private communities. But instead of relying on private communities, you could also try to sell products and services. Because the world is your oyster here. You can sell literally anything you can think of. But as for what you should sell, well, once again, it depends a lot on the type of channel you're running. The thing that will always generate the most sales is if you can sell something that solves a problem your audience already has. If you do editing tutorials, selling your editing presets would make a lot of sense. If you make productivity videos, you could sell your Notion setup. It should be a natural extension of your content. For physical products like merch and plushies and so on, this usually requires a more loyal and dedicated fan base to generate any significant amount of revenue. Most people only buy physical products from channels that they are heavily invested in. This is easier when you have a lot of videos already, because that would mean there is more hours worth of content that they could watch and in turn get more invested into your channel. But besides just selling products, you can also sell a service. Your entire channel is basically a portfolio. If you have a certain sellable skill, you can promote that on your channel and sell that as a service. In my last video, I actually kind of did this. I spent the entire video reviewing 3 channels and explaining what I thought each one's main issues were. Then at the end, I told people they could hire me for a personalized audit of their own channel. So the entire video showcased that I can do the exact job you could hire me for. And that made people buy. In fact, I got a lot more sales than expected, and the next day I had to mark it as sold out. I did make a waitlist people could sign up for meanwhile though, and that waitlist is now at more than 200 people, which is a lot of potential clients from just one single video. Now, to be honest, I mostly did this as an experiment, and I might not take on more clients in the future, but that's a story for another video. The point is that you can make just one single video that really showcases your skills in something, and you can get a lot of clients from that. But if you don't want to sell anything to your audience, there is one way you can try to get more ad revenue out of the content you have already made, and that's by running a 24/7 live stream. And no, I don't mean actually becoming a streamer or running an infinite subathon or anything. What you do is just take your existing videos, put them on a loop, and run a live stream that runs 24/7. The reason you might want to do this is because it allows all of your old content to keep generating watch time and ad revenue without really putting in any extra effort. The most popular example of someone doing this is probably the Lo-Fi Girl. They do occasionally upload videos of lo-fi music, but what everyone knows them for is this live stream that just runs 24/7. One thing you might not know though is that they actually have 20 live streams running 24/7 at the same time. time. You can basically think of them as different radio stations. And while some of their streams always have a lot of concurrent viewers, some of their other streams really don't get that many. However, it is still worth it for them to keep those streams up, because if you do the math here, a stream just holding 10 people at any given moment amounts to around 240 watch hours a day. Over a month, that is more than 7,000 watch hours. And while the Lo-Fi Girl might be the most popular example, this concept actually exists for most niches. But what usually works the absolute best is when your content is something people would actually leave running in the background on a TV. For my channel, that is not really the case. People looking for tips on how to grow a YouTube channel would most likely not be interested in watching that as a live stream. But for stuff like music, chill gameplay, nature, any ambient content really, this can definitely be a pretty easy way to get more watch time out of videos you have already made. And if you aren't monetized yet, watch hours from streams can count towards the 4,000 hours you need for monetization, but this only works if the stream gets saved to your channel afterwards. And YouTube only saves streams that are under 12 hours. So if you want to use this strategy as a goal to get monetized quicker, you have to end each stream before the 12-hour mark and then restart. And if you want to try to start out your own 24/7 live stream, one of the best ways to do it practically is with today's sponsor, Gyro Pro. Gyro Pro is an official YouTube partner, and setting it up takes just 3 steps. First, you upload your videos to Gyro, then you create a live stream on YouTube and either select an existing stream key or create a new one. Then hit start. And congratulations, your first live stream is now running. You could also schedule it for later if you prefer to do that instead. And just to get the obvious question out of the way, Gyro never gets access to your channel. All it receives is a stream key, which lets it send videos to your channel and nothing else. You can basically think of it as a projector while YouTube is still your screen. Gyro Pro also allows you to run an unlimited amount of simultaneous streams. And this is all in the cloud, which means that you wouldn't even need to keep your computer on. And right now, you can try out a free 7-day trial by signing up with the link in the description. And use the promotion code MONOMOT15 and you'll get 15% off on any 3, 6 or 12-month plan. Thank you, Gyro Pro. Now back to the video. Besides live streaming, you can also repurpose your content on other platforms like Spotify. And yes, you can upload videos to Spotify and it can actually be pretty damn lucrative. A lot of big creators have started doing this and they're promoting it directly in their pinned comments. The reason for that is that the RPM on Spotify is usually a lot better than it is on YouTube. So while you might earn $3 per 1,000 views on YouTube, Spotify sometimes pay double or more than that. And it basically takes no effort. You literally just re-upload videos you have already made. The bad news though is that Spotify's discoverability features are pretty terrible. You won't really get any new viewers there. So this usually only works if you already have a pretty large audience that you can send to Spotify. But if you are pulling hundreds of thousands of views, it is honestly a no-brainer to at least try. There's really not much to lose here. But next up, affiliate marketing. A lot of creators have affiliate links in their description, either to products that they reviewed in the video or just a general list of gear that they use. If you review a product and talk about it in a video, that will of course usually generate more sales than if you just have some random links in your description. But it is also very easy to just sign up for the Amazon Associates program and start dropping your links in your description. So it's definitely something to try. The downside though is that the money usually isn't that great. Amazon's commission rates are pretty low, so unless you're moving some serious volume or linking expensive stuff, most creators that aren't dedicated review channels or talking about products are mostly making coffee money from Amazon. But affiliate programs do exist for many other sites besides just Amazon, and a lot of them have a much higher commission rate. So if you're already using a certain product or tool for your videos, you should always check out if they do have an affiliate program and see if you can sign up for that. Sometimes it might even be worth reaching out to their marketing department and ask about it, because if you do have an audience, they might be able to offer you better deals. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends a lot on the company. Next up, let's talk about YouTube's native features. These are all of the features that are built directly into YouTube. There are a few of them that a lot of creators never really use. One of them is the YouTube shopping section, where you can either tag your own products from your own store and they will appear directly on the video itself. But even if you don't have a store, you can also tag any other products. This is the affiliate program, so you earn a commission from every purchase. It is the same as affiliate marketing, but the reason I'm bringing it up here specifically is because the commission rates you get are usually quite a bit higher than they are on Amazon. So for some creators that are currently linking to Amazon, it's probably worth checking out if you can just tag them on YouTube directly instead. To do this though, you do need to be in the YouTube partner program, aka be monetized, and you also need to fulfill a few other requirements. It's not a feature that's available in every country, unfortunately. Then there are some of the more common YouTube features like YouTube memberships, which is just a private community directly on YouTube. And then there are super thanks, where viewers can tip you directly on your videos. The problem with both of these though is that YouTube takes a 30% cut, where something like Patreon, on the other hand, takes a 10% cut. And then there are some other alternatives too that takes an even smaller cut. If you want to be more viewer funded, it is a good idea to look into the different fees on the different platforms. YouTube in general is always the one that takes the largest fee. Anyway, that was all the main ways other channels actually earn their money. And to be clear here, the point of this video is not necessarily that you should do all of them. In fact, that might be kind of insane. The point is that you now get to make an educated choice in how you want to monetize your channel. And if you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.